Now, studies found that almost 3/4 of men are apparently unwilling to open up to their friends about the state of their mental health. The campaign by Time to Change also found that despite 2/3 of men classing themselves as good communicators, nearly half failed to open up to anybody more than twice in the last year. Before we meet one of the campaign supporters, here's a look at their video encouraging more men to open up.
When I moved to university, my mates were further away and I probably wasn't talking as much to Steve as I should have been. It was very difficult, I think, for me as a man, as a boy, as a teenager, to talk about my feelings because of the stigma that I thought existed there around mental illness.
And the man that you saw in that video is Jon Salmon. He joins me now in the studio. Jon, good to see you. Thank you for coming in this morning. So the bottom line to all of this is that we as blokes, for the most part, think we're good communicators, but actually we're not.
I think probably when it comes to our feelings, that's where we probably fall very short of being good communicators. I think really the challenges I've definitely found when I've been growing up to, really open up and kind of explain kind of how I'm feeling. I think that is definitely a challenge for men in particular.
What does talking do?
Obviously, I now know that talking can really save lives. And when it comes to mental health and mental illness, I think what is happening is that because we're so frightened to talk about mental health and mental illness, and because of the stigma and how we're feeling, it's really, really difficult sometimes for people to find it to open up. But I've definitely found that by opening up and talking, I've actually found that to be, friends and family to be very supportive.
Why did you decide to take part in the campaign? Because, you've been talking about a relationship that you got with your friend Steve. Can you tell us about a time in your life when that relationship really came into action?
Yeah, so when I was in my first job, I actually was suffering very much from stress and depression. I ended up being sectioned into hospital, so I was actually had to be in hospital for a number of weeks. And it was actually my friend Steve that supported me, amongst my family and other friends as well. But Steve, as a friend, was somebody who would say at the time, like, he didn't know how to support me, but just by being there, having somebody to listen to what I had to say was really, really helpful through that time of real difficulty.
How do you program yourself or reprogram yourself to talk about these things with your mates if it's something that you're simply not used to? From personal experience, I don't really talk to my close guy mates, about things that are really personal to me. We'll go to the pub, we'll watch the football, we'll watch the rugby, but that whole conversation about, like, how are you, mate? What's going on with you? We don't really have very often. No,
I think we may ask each other how we are, and then we'll just give a default response back, especially down the pub. Yeah, I'm all right, mate. How's it going? But I think, you as a friend can pick up on signs if one of your friends isn't acting normally or something just isn't right. I think you feel it sometimes. And the whole important thing about the Time to Change campaign is asking twice and actually, are you okay? And if you get that response back that, yeah, I'm fine, thank you, but, probe a bit further if you do think something's not right. Just by asking twice, again, you're more likely to get a more honest response.
What about those people who will say, look, this is all a little bit woke, isn't it? Toughen up, get on with it, man up, they're bigger issues in life. You don't really have to talk about these things.
We really have to talk about these things. It's the biggest killer in men is suicide under the age of 45. If we don't get the country, and men in particular, talking more about their mental health earlier, that we're just going to see more and more people sadly taking their lives because of the stigma that exists. So it's so important that we can have a conversation around our mental health just like we can about our physical health.
A good campaign, a worthy cause. OK, Jon, thank you for coming in this morning.
Thanks very much.
Let's have a look at the weather now.